Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the consideration, and I will be respectful of the 5-minute limit. Madam Secretary, thank you for being here. It's not news to anybody that from coast to coast, extreme weather events driven by the climate crisis have increased both in frequency as well as intensity. And one of the byproducts of these storms is that power outages have become more and more common. And it can be the impact of extreme heat in the summer months, freezing temperatures and ice storms in the winter. Our nation's electric grid is frequently tested. In many cases, it is not able to weather the storm, pun intended. A weak grid disrupts the lives of millions of Americans, and beyond that, really costs the economy billions of dollars by not only impeding emergency services, for example, but temporarily closing schools, businesses, and other locations, and in many cases even causing massive and dangerous wildfires. So this is an issue that I've been working on since I got to the Senate, together with you. Can you discuss how the fiscal year 25 budget supports a resilient grid both at the transmission and the distribution levels?
Yes, thank you so much for this question, because the grid, of course, is the foundational piece of infrastructure for all energy, and it is a grid that was built in many cases decades and decades ago and needs significant upgrading in addition to expansion. That is exactly what we're working on. Thank you for the tools given in the bipartisan infrastructure law for the Grid Resilience Innovation Program, for example, for the tools given in the Loan Program Office to be able to support additional expansion and hardening of the grid. All of that is necessary. Unfortunately, the GRIP program, for example, the competitive solicitations are far oversubscribed. Even though the generosity of Congress to be able to give us $20 billion for that was obviously very needed, but we need so much more going forward. The bottom line is both on the transmission side in getting power from where it's generated to where it's used, and on the distribution side in the local communities, both are critical. On the distribution side, I'm pleased to say that we've been, in part of this budget, requests additional funding for our grid deployment office for microgrids to be able to create that resiliency at the local level, in addition to what we're doing on the transmission side. Both very important. Really appreciate the support this Congress has given us.
Thank you, and I'll just plant the seed. Looking forward to working with you and our chairman on reconductoring of transmission infrastructure, both for capacity and efficiency objectives. The one additional question I wanted to make sure to raise today is in regards to geothermal, right? As part of our shift towards cleaner sources of energy, geothermal energy is considered renewable gold. It has the potential to provide 24/7 clean, reliable, and dispatchable power to the grid. And it's vitally important in the face of a changing climate and the extreme weather events that I discussed. Now, scaling these technologies is especially urgent in places where geothermal resources are abundant, like my home state of California. Can you speak to the importance of supporting the full spectrum of technology development for geothermal technologies, everything from early stage R&D to commercialization and upscaling?
Yes, thank you so much for this. Our Geothermal Technologies Office has been working on this for a long time, but we got a big boost with the ability to use tax credits to incentivize the generation of geothermal power. We also have just launched an enhanced geothermal commercial liftoff report, and I meant to say in the last question, we just today are announcing a liftoff report for innovative grid technologies, which include reconductoring and grid enhancing technologies. But on geothermal, from conception, the best technologies, the best ways of using hydraulic fracturing to be able to get at places we wouldn't otherwise be able to get at, the best strategy from a commercial liftoff point of view, and the best demonstration of geothermal, like with a company called Fervo, which is using skill set and technology from the oil and gas industry to do enhanced geothermal and is very, very promising. to deployment of more traditional geothermal and deployment of geothermal at home. In other words, heat pumps using geothermal. That full spectrum is exactly what the Department of Energy has been working on, and with your continued to support, the one big hurdle that exists from our Enhanced Geothermal Liftoff Report is the fact that the capital costs of those projects are expensive. And so figuring out a way to support those capital costs are teed up as the next hurdle we can challenge together.
Thank you very much. Thank you again for your consideration, Mr. Chair.